Well, hello, my loves, and happy Sunday to you. I had fun. I had trouble. I lost my way. I went through an amazing journey with this piece, and it completely shifted how I was thinking about it. I shifted what I want to talk about, the message of the piece. It was an amazing journey. So let's take a look. So here is my piece. Now this is 14 by 18 wide, I believe. I'll double check that. This is a canvas. It's big. It's a bigger one. That's why you can see my feet down there so that I could fit it all in. And man, oh man, oh man, the layers on this. I just wish you could see it and feel it and touch it, and it's gorgeous at this point, but man, it took me a while to find my way with this, and I got there. And sometimes, you know, I had to just kind of take a step away and come back to it, and then I got a clearer vision, and then a better vision, and then a better vision. So let's talk about the supplies that I used. I used my canvas. And the amount of paint layers on here is unbelievable. And so I started the background. The background is dark, and I wanted that dark. That's the one thing that I wanted for sure. The teal, I wanted that. The rest of this, so it was discovered in the journey. And so the background started with some... let's see, I used my high flow in raw umber, and then I added a little bit of carbon black and a little bit of Payne's gray. This is high flow acrylic by Golden, and this is a new, I'm trying these out. These are Matisse. This is a fluid, but it's like a high flow. It's very comparable to that. It's got a ball in it so that, you know, anyway. I also use some titanium white high flow for obviously my dots. So that was the initial first layer. And then I came in and I wiped back using some stencils. I wiped back using a number. And then this one, I just wanted some pattern. I wanted some pattern and texture in here, not realizing how many actual layers was going to go into this thing. And you know, you don't see these things that I did in the very back, but you have to start somewhere. And we're going to talk about that at the end of the video. So then after I did that, I had some really cool patterns in the first layer. And then I started adding my paint colors. And those are a mixture of, I started with the darkest color first, turquoise. This is this gorgeous, was it this color? Yeah, this gorgeous deep, deep, rich turquoise from Soho that I'm absolutely loving. Lucas acrylic teal, and then a lighter teal. This is green blue medium. It's a matte. And then of course I mixed gesso in with my teal, my regular gesso. And I used gesso for my white. And then the top, I started with, the top is really what gave me the problem, and part of it was because of the color. And once I realized it was the color, not necessarily the structure, but the color, it was like, oh, the angel sang. But oh, and I used my catalyst tool for my first layers, kind of moving my high flow around. And then I also used my color shaper and my brayer. I just love my brayer to give me this just gorgeous texture and kind of just that soft, I don't know how to explain it, kind of grungy. And then I also use my palette knife as well. And then, so for this layer, I started with my darkest color. I used a little bit of burnt sienna and some oh my gosh, Alzerian crimson hue. And then I went to quinacridone magenta, rose madder, and then I threw in some light portrait pink because I had this idea that these two colors would look really great together, something different. And it was awful. It did not make me happy. And you might watch the video and go, oh, why did she cover that up? We have to go with what makes us happy. So it took me lots and lots of layers to get this part up here right, and you'll see all of that. So those are the colors for my paints. I used some olive green and some green gold by Soho for my little bits of green, and I did use some Naples yellow, which is in this mess somewhere. I'm in the middle of filming a workshop, and so it's pretty much chaos everywhere in here. Olive green. It's Naples yellow. I'll find it, and it'll be in the picture. Oh, here it is. Naples yellow. I put it away. Wow. Who knew that would happen? And then I came back with some black spray paint and put in my pattern, which I absolutely love. That's one of my favorite things about this piece. And I used these two, no, this one and, yeah, it's in here too somewhere. The letting go, the swirly stencil, letting go. Okay, again, it'll be all the stencils that I used today. Oh, here it is. Oh my gosh, Shawn, get a grip. All the stencils that I used today will be on sale. This is what chaos looks like. Okay, so that I loved that. And so, and I even kept, there was a 9 in here, and some of the numbers that I did from the first layer, I kind of kept that. I kept a couple other things. And then I just continued to layer over this until I found the sweet spot, until it made me happy. Yeah, okay. I stenciled on my quote, "That which is done in love is done well," and that's by Van Gogh. And I used my letter, large font stencil. I don't know the names of all of these, but they'll be listed on the blog. The link to the blog will be down below in the YouTube description box. I used my scratchy tool to really kind of scratch in some fun lines and marks and different things like that. The texture is unbelievable. It's so yummy good. I did use my flat, small, like half-inch flat brush. Oh, I got a little paint on there. Yeah, it kind of looks good. And really did a lot of just kind of scrubbing to get that kind of to match the brayer kind of look. But I really wanted to be controlled because I was covering up certain spots. And I added raw umber. I added a little bit of gray. I mean, because I mixed some of the black and the gesso together. I added more green and yellow, Naples yellow over here. Brought them down here. It took me a while to find my way on the top. The bottom, not so much, because I was pretty happy with this. And the layers of that turquoise from dark to light, so good. Gesso, black gesso for my black. I did off camera, I did a few like scratchy kind of marks with my charcoal pencil. Not too much because there's already a ton going on. I think that's it. That was a lot of supplies. So, I can't wait to share the project with you so that you can watch me journey through this and then share my thoughts about this journey with you, because I get a question asked all the time, and this video can explain so many of those questions that I get asked all the time. So I was going to talk about the quote, but that will be for another day. I'll use it again or something like that. I'm going to walk through the journey of this piece with you. All right, so let's get creating, and I will see you at the end of the video. All right, I hope you enjoyed watching me journey through this piece, my friends. And hopefully it will encourage you to know that not every piece goes according to plan. We'll talk about that in a second. So by the time you see this video, I will have a new workshop out called Language of Your Heart, and it is a beauty. It is rich and deep and meaningful, and I can't wait to share that with you. Early bird pricing will be happening, so you can grab that if you are so interested. I will have a link to that down below and on the blog. And all the stencils will be on sale this week that I used. I used a lot of them. And I'll have them listed since I couldn't find some of them in the mess that I am in right now. And all the supplies will be listed on the blog, and the link to the blog is down below in the YouTube description box. Okay, so this piece, I started out wanting it to be rather soft. To kind of go with the quote, and I was going to talk about love and all those wonderful things. And as I began the piece, right away, I wanted that black underneath because I wanted that to kind of peek through, to kind of give a little bit of grunge to it. Well, it felt out of control from the get-go, especially the top part. So let's take a look. So this part up here, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if it was the color, if it was the magenta on the black. There was a lot of things happening. This, yum, love it, all good. This little bit over here, yummy, yummy. This little bit, yay, yay. This, I was stuck. I just couldn't find the way through it. And finally I realized that this pink was what was kind of throwing me off. It just didn't go well. It didn't feel right for me. I had this idea of two colors, and I saw it on another piece. Somebody else, I don't know where I saw it. I think it was on a card, actually. I saw like these two colors together, and I thought, that's a really pretty color combination. Well, not for me. And so I layered and layered and layered and layered. And this, I knew there was going to be a lot of layers here in this area because I wanted that graduation of color. But this up here, I loved this part. I knew that I wanted to bring in the green for that pop of unexpectedness. But I just couldn't find the two colors together, the green and that portrait pink. Is not me. It's just not me. So everything else good, and finally it came to the place where I toned out the stuff that I didn't like. Period. That was it. It was either going to be that or I was going to start over. And as soon as I did that, I knew that was it. And I just continued to kind of tone things down and a little bit more and blocking more and more out. And as soon as I got that calmness in here, I was like, okay, we're good. We're there. Okay. So what I want to just quickly say to you today is that I get asked all the time, why put that layer down if you're just going to cover it up? Why put that paper down if you're just going to cover it up? Why do all of those things if they just get covered up? Because most of the time, and I'll say in general, as artists, we know we have an idea. I have an idea of what I want, but sometimes how to get there changes. And sometimes all those layers make the piece. So there is no way that I could have made a plan to create this piece and have it look the way that it does with all of the layers unless I just went for it, unless I just continued to layer and work and layer and work until it felt right. And sometimes that happens right away, and sometimes, like I slept on it. I went to bed. And on the very last few videos that you watched, I was in my pajamas because I couldn't sleep thinking about, like, what is it about this piece? And sometimes that's how it works. Sometimes things come together very easily, and sometimes they don't. But the number one question I get is, why layer the layers that you do if they just get covered up? Because I put some papers down in there for kind of that texture. You don't see those. You don't even really know they're there, but they're there because you can see the texture. They add depth and dimension to your work. And so the layers are so important for, I could go on for many, many reasons why the layers are important. The layers, one, you start. Because most of the time, what happens is when we're thinking about how to do it perfectly, we talk ourselves out of starting. We're looking at a blank canvas, and what if I do the wrong thing? And what if I put down the wrong color like I did? What if I? You just have to start, and you have to be bad, and you have to make a mess, and you have to figure it out, and you have to go through that ugly place. Most of the time, my students will ask me a question like, I don't want to do this anymore, I quit. Because they're in the messy place. They haven't built themselves up enough times to work through each piece and get it to a finished spot to know that I'm going to make this work. I'm going to figure it out. What's the worst that can happen if I don't? I paint over it. That fear and that unknowing goes away. And so the layers are so very important in what we create. It adds this rich depth. There are pieces of art that are fabulous but feel flat and not interesting. And because, there aren't all of those layers. And sometimes we want pieces that are more simple. This felt chaotic for a very long time, and now it feels right to me. And that's the other part. When we start with an idea and we're working on it and we're doing our thing and it doesn't feel right to you, trust your gut. Trust your gut to say, I need to paint that top white, or I need to paint it blue, or whatever it might be. Trust your gut. And the more you do it, the more you layer, the more you trust your gut, the more you push through that awkward, middle, messy place, the more confidence you build every single time you create. The easier it is to approach something blank, the easier it is to bring your ideas to life, the easier it is, so on and so on. Pushing through the layers teach us. The layers also, I have so many reasons why the layers are so important. The layers also tell us where to go next. So when I put my first layer of this piece down, it was black and brown. And I did some reverse stenciling and I brought up that number, some of the numbers. I really liked it. I liked how it looked. So I focused on that area and I put paint down around it. It eventually kind of faded into the back, but it's still there. But when I worked my way around that, it gave me another idea of how to go and what to do. I used a different tool because I was looking for something and I really liked that. So then it took me to another layer in another place. Each layer gives us new ideas. It tells us where to go. It shows us a direction. It's part of our creativity, and we have to be willing to allow the layers to say, for us to put something down and it's not part of the plan, and we'll go, I really, really like that. I'm going to go with it. And see where it goes. The layers are so very important. And so I had something completely different that I was going to talk about today. But I thought this piece was a great example of trusting yourself, working through the messy middle, continuing with each layer, and why the layers are so important. And this is a life lesson too. Our layers to ourselves are so important. I feel like most of the time I'm always in the messy middle of my life. But we keep going. And all the layers of our life teach us something new. They teach us confidence and wisdom and all of those things. And it's the same thing for our art. Every single layer and season of our life, season of our art shifts and changes. When we first start creating, my art's completely different now than when I started. All the layers teach us something. So that's what I wanted to tell you today, because I get that question asked. I mean, I've got it asked in the last week probably 7 times. Why put that layer down if you're just going to cover it up? Texture, depth, interest, wisdom, tells me where to go, starts my creative process, starts me just creating, breaks the blank page, whatever it might be. The layers are so very important. All right, my loves, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching this crazy, crazy piece. It was a challenge, and now it's a beauty. And so is life, right? All right, my loves, I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. I hope you create layers today and have fun creating however this inspired you. All right, my loves, have a wonderful Sunday, and always, always know that you are loved.